Well, hello, friends. This is Jasmine Gonzalez here with a special public service announcement to make about card games. Yeah, it's card games. Every collectible, specifically, not any type of card games. I'm talking about like poker or cards that you can get cheap in the store. I am talking about collectible card games. The evil that they are. They suck up your money. You collect the cards, and then out of a sudden, you have shit ton of totes after totes after totes after totes with cards. And yeah, you can sell them, but sometimes if you don't know how to sell them, you're going to have the problem that I have, which is you're going to end up with totes and totes of cards. Like in there are Yu-Gi-Oh cards, Magic the Gathering cards. Like seriously, like for example, the first game that I got introduced to was Fireball. I mean Magic the Gathering. I got introduced to Magic the Gathering in 1993. 1993. Yes, I'm that old. You do the math. I don't really care. But 1993, a friend of mine went to the store. They found out a deck of Magic the Gathering. They introduced me to Magic the Gathering. I got interested. For a while, I collected Magic the Gathering until I was like, kind of like, I have too many cards. I don't want to continue playing this game. I'm going to focus on RPG games. And then I moved up here. And then I began collecting, purchasing only starter decks. And starter decks, I have starter decks, and some cards that I needed. And all of a sudden now I have like a few boxes, this kind of boxes, of Magic the Gathering. Yeah, this is only one box out of the few boxes that I have of Magic the Gathering. In Puerto Rico in 2000, let's see, 1999, 19 early 2000, I got introduced to another card game that would change that I would get mildly obsessed with, mostly because I like wrestling, and I began doing wrestling in Puerto Rico, so I was obsessed with wrestling. I'm talking about WWE Radio. At the time it was WWF, but then WWE called itself, they went with the F out after they lost their lawsuit, so it's called WWE Radio. And I began collecting this game. And I got mildly obsessed with it to the point that I purchased a lot of cards, a lot of the expansions. This is all WWE deal cards, like seriously, like I'm not lying. Plus, not only that, I have a gigantic tote full of WWE Radial cards. That tote in there, this tote in here, is full of WWE Radial cards. Now, the game died in 2007, or in 2007, it ended, came to an end. No longer have cards being published anymore. So, now I have a bunch of collection of cards. I mean, I could sell them, but I will have to go little by little, figure out what I have and how can I sell them. Plus, there's no guarantee that I'm going to get any money out of that. You know, I don't know who's purchasing the game, especially a game that has come to an end. You know, I don't find groups of people to play. They've been sitting in my storage unit. Now they're going to be sitting there until I decide what to do with them. But yeah, radio cards, all of those totes of cards, hundreds of money spent on cards. Now, next game I'm going to talk about is a game that a lot of you will recognize because I purchased the cards by casualty in the year 2000, and in 2010 when I was attending Hudson Valley Community College Theater Arts program, I discovered this game, and I'm talking no other than Yu-Gi-Oh! It's time to duel. Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah, I have Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards too. All these things, this here, this totes in here, and also some totes in my room are Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I have a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and actually I have played competitively in Yu-Gi-Oh, but after the pandemic I haven't played at all. Purchased a few cards here and there, but I'm no longer that. I'm trying to avoid purchasing more cards because The problem, as you can see, is like you start with one starter deck, and all of a sudden you end up with shit ton of cards in your apartment that you have that you keep, unless you can sell. But if you can sell them, you just have a bunch of cards laying around your apartment. So I don't want to say don't get into the playing collectible card games. They can be fun. I have enjoyed playing them in person. Um, I also have hated playing in person because if you're not playing like for example, if you're not playing one of the metas in Yu-Gi-Oh, expect to lose most of the time when you go into tournaments. People that push you and it's like, come on, faster, can you play faster, yada yada. I hate that shit. So yeah, it's I love and I hate it pretty much. I love playing it, but also I've hated playing it. At the same time, I feel like it's a lot of money that you spend on cards just to get that particular card that will help you out. Out of a sudden, next time they come publish a new set and your cards become less used. And that's the problem that I say about collectible card games. They are fun to play, but they have a major drawback, and you're spending money constantly. So, like, having gone through periods of poverty lately since around 2008, um, purchasing cards it's not feasible. Um, so it becomes a little bit difficult to keep playing a game. And now with the pandemic, it's like I haven't played anything, so now it's like I'm trying to figure out what should I do with my cards. Shall I just discard all the common cards that I have, or shall I sell them online? Hope that some people will purchase from my store if I make a store, or give them away. I think the Lily cards I may give them away to a friend of mine. Not sure yet. I haven't decided that yet. I need to decide that. Um, if not, I will be putting them on eBay, I guess, and trying to sell them on eBay. But there's no guarantee that the people are going to buy it. I think I may just prefer to give them away to my friend and let them take care of it. If they can make money out of that, selling that, good. If not, like I personally really don't care at this point. I just want to pretty much downsize the stuff that I have. Yu-Gi-Oh cards, I don't know. Like I said, I may just ditch the commons that I have, keep some of them, but the other ones I just toss them away. Magic the Gathering, I don't know what I'm going to do with the Magic the Gathering, but like again, these are games that I just have had in here, and I haven't played. This things is just taking place. If I discard those cards, I can ditch all those thoughts or put them away, store those thoughts away, and then I'll have space, or space to put some other stuff that I have in there. It's the same thing that I have with books. I have books that I have purchased throughout my life, scripts for theater, books that I want to read, books that I have not read, um, role-playing games that I have played, role-playing games that I have not played. It's and I'm realizing that it's just too much, it's taking too much space. So I'm thinking that I'm going to probably have to get rid of stuff. It's like tools that I may use to make things. It's like, for example, that. And then all of a sudden decide like, oh, I'm not going to use it anymore because I don't have time to make things. So see the problem that happens as human beings? We accumulate too much shit. Like George Carlin, the great George Carlin, is right. And when he says like, we humans collect stuff. If we didn't buy stuff, we could be just walking freely out in the world, But no, we collect stuff, and I have a lot of stuff, which I feel is worthless because I can sell it. Some of it is just like, once you went to engineering school, you will not want my engineering books. Honestly, I just keep them because of me wanting to maybe hopefully get back into it. But going back to card games, yes. Like I said, it's a public service announcement. If you're not planning, be careful how much money you invest. That's number one. That's what I will say. Don't use credit cards. Don't get into credit debt. Purchasing cards, not advisable. I don't want you to get into in trouble for that. And two, there are better ways that you can spend your money into that don't involve card games. I'm not gonna tell you what it is, but you figure it out. I prefer role-playing games. I prefer board games because they have everything in there. So you can purchase just a board game, and you have everything you need to play with your friends. Instead of card games. So I feel like lately I'm more inclined to purchasing board games, and I have purchased board games lately. I haven't played board games, but this one of them. I have more at my room in there, but yeah, board games are something that I feel like are more interesting to me lately because you have everything. You don't need to purchase new cards or new things every now and then just to keep in the game. A board game, you just purchase the board game and that's it. You have the game. Um, so, but again, I have purchased a bunch of board games and I haven't had the time to play because I don't have enough people to play. And the pandemic hit. So, I'm just realizing that just a lot of money that one spent buying things that you may not need in your life. You could have used that money for something else. You could have saved that money. Instead, I purchased cards. Cards. Paper. Cards. That's sad. Anyway. That's all I got. Peace out, everybody.